Welcome to the 2025 SBA Spokane City Council Candidates Forum. I'm Brad Barnett, President of the Spokane Business Association. As a business advocacy organization, our goal is to get information out to the citizens to make an informed decision. We want the citizens to be engaged, register to vote, and participate in the process. And as a business organization, we don't endorse or oppose political candidates, although we do oppose and endorse legislation that has an impact on our business community. We want our business community to thrive in Spokane, because when the business community thrives, the whole city will thrive. This segment, we're going to focus on Spokane City Council District 2. I want to welcome Alejandro. Thank you for being with us today. We did reach out to his opponent, Kate Tellis, several times, and she has declined to participate in the event. We have prepared 6 questions for the candidates. We did send these questions to the candidates in advance. The candidates will also have an opening and closing statement. So again, thank you, Alejandro, for being with us. So if you want to go ahead and start your 4-minute opening.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, first of all, thank you for definitely having me here. I really appreciate it. For those that don't know me, my name is Alejandro Barrientos. I'm a candidate for District 2. A little bit about myself is I was born in Miami, Florida. At a very young age, my parents moved to Medellin, Colombia, where I was raised. At 19, I moved back to Spokane, Washington. When I say back, Spokane is home for me. But we moved to Spokane, Washington, or I moved to Spokane, Washington to attend Gonzaga University. Fell in love, so by the way, go Sags. Fell in love with the city, the community. I felt embraced when I got here. And I chose to stay and build a life. Raising my 2 wonderful kids, Martin, who's 8, and Olivia, who's 4. And I finally felt that I was ready and had the courage to step up and give back to a community that's given me so much in the past 17 years. By day, I work as a chief operating officer for a manufacturing company. I lead over 100 people here in Spokane, Washington, and in Stockton, California. I like to say I'm not a career politician, just a father, a neighbor, somebody that cares about Spokane and wants to see some change. In the last 17 years, I've witnessed some very positive change here in Spokane, but I know that there are some challenges that we're falling short on. The issues that propel me to run are public safety, which is one of my top priorities, our unhoused population, specifically our chronic homeless, who are people dealing with mental health issues, drug addictions that are affecting our downtown core and our low-income neighborhoods, as well as housing. And as an outsider looking in, I feel like we put party and politics before people and progress. And I think somebody that is multicultural, multilingual, somebody that has proven leadership skills, operational skills, I know I can bring a lot of value to City Council. I want to be that voice that lowers the temperature, brings people together on common ground, and builds from there real lasting solutions for Spokane. The issues that we're facing here in Spokane aren't unique to Spokane. There's a lot of cities here in Spokane that have dealt with these issues, and I think we need to bring proven models here to Spokane to help make our economy and our people feel safe and welcome. And thank you for your time.
All right, thank you. We'll get started with the first of the 6 questions. And the first one is that Spokane has one of the highest overdose death rates in the nation. What do you think the role of City Council, and what would you propose that you would do to help fix that issue?
Yeah, these are statistics that are pretty heartbreaking. I know we lost around 325 lives last year, and we're projected to lose 500 this year. And I haven't looked at those figures, but it doesn't look like we're going in the right path. I think that we need to continue to fund our law enforcement, giving them the necessary tools to disrupt the drug trade. I know I've heard many elected officials say that Spokane is a hub, and we need to make sure that we provide them the necessary tools to kind of stop that. At a street level, we need to continue to enforce open drug use and drug trafficking, because there's people that are in this situation and we need to help them. But there's also programs in Spokane that we need to continue to fund, like Maddie's Place and Vanessa Behan. These programs are going to be helping our kids to grow up in a community where they're not following or going through a path that will take them to doing drugs or mental health disorders. And so this is about restoring our community, and I think City Council plays a key role. and also the reason why we have an overdose death is because we have consumers, and we need to get those people the help that they need. We need to give them a path forward to the services, and I know that here in Spokane we haven't done a really good job at getting people in the path that they need to get better. But yeah, I think our city council does play a key role to put ordinances and policies that help people be on the right path.
Okay.
One thing that I forgot to mention on the last question too, if I have maybe a brief 2 seconds, education is very important too. We need to make sure that we educate people. I think it starts at elementary to all the way through high school, and then even people that are on the streets consuming. We need to make sure that we educate people, because I think in Spokane there's been drug addictions in the past, but fentanyl has really changed the game. It's a very powerful drug, and I don't think we have enough education out there to really show people what this how this drug affects people's lives. So I think that's important as well.
The second question really kind of follows up on some of the stuff you were just talking about. SBA has proposed a city charter amendment, and our goal is to really reinstate the 2023 Prop 1 passed by 75% of the population. And what do you think about this proposed amendment? And I know it's kind of in flux, it's a draft statement, but what are your views on this, and do you think it can make a real difference in our community?
I sure do. I think I mean, I've had the opportunity to read some of the draft, and I know it's still being worked on. But I think what this creates is kind of that sense of trust with our local politics. I think we've lost some of that. When we have 75% of the people that voted for an initiative or an ordinance, I don't think I've ever seen such high approval for something, and every precinct in Spokane voted positively for this. So from my perspective, whether as elected officials or when it was passed a couple years ago, whether we knew it was going to work or not, we never communicated that to the people. And I think that if this is what people voted for, to be able to kind of bring that trust back, it's something that we need to put in place, and then we need to work with the people and tell them what's working and what's not, and try to make this policy or this ordinance better. I think one of the things that I like a lot about the 75% Act is that there's actually a plan. There's how do we enforce it, how do we carry it, what sort of metrics we're providing, key performance indicators. It's on a quarterly level. I think the way I look at this is kind of as a business, we need to have a clear path and plan and clarity in how we're going to execute this ordinance. And I think the 75% Act does that. And that gives the constituents that trust in local government, but it allows us as elected officials to provide feedback to the people and say, here's what's working, here's what's not working, and we can do X, Y, and Z to make this work. But when we look at our people and say, whether we do or not, say, hey, we know better, here's what we're gonna put together, people feel like their vote is not counting. They don't feel that they can have a trust in local government. And in business and in politics, I think over-communication is not a thing, right? We need to really communicate with people. We need to bring people to the table, people that are facing these issues firsthand and know these issues and know what to do to solve them. And I think by putting 75% Act is that we're going to create that bridge for our local government and our constituents. So I'm in favor and I support it.
Thank you. Moving on to question 3. So other than the street level homelessness and addiction in downtown Spokane, what do you think the biggest issue is facing the downtown business community? And secondly, what role, if any, do you think City Council plays in a strong economic, thriving business community downtown?
I mean, our City Hall, our elected officials play a key role in our downtown business and our economy. I think outside of the 2 issues that you named, you know, as a business owner, you're carrying a lot, right? inventory manager, logistics manager, you're hiring, training people, your customer service marketing. There's a lot of burden as a small business owner, or even a business owner in a sense in Spokane. But on top of that, they're carrying a lot more burden that the city should be responsible in helping them with. Some of them are first responders because they have to provide Narcan. Some of them are cleaning the streets, so they're janitors because there's needles, there's feces, there's things on the ground that they want their patrons to feel safe in coming to work. But on top of that, they're also security, because I've heard from many business owners that some of their employees do not feel safe going to the car at night or in the mornings, and so the business owners are carrying all these burdens. And even on top of that, they're also service providers. I mean, a lot of people inherently are compassionate and want to see people get better in the community, and so some of these business owners are giving food or trying to engage with people and get them off the street. So I think as business owners, they're carrying quite a bit of burden that I think our city council could definitely take some of that burden off, and they're key to people's success, because when we take that burden off of our small business owners or business owners in downtown Spokane, they can focus on what they're good at, which is create a business that attracts people, and then they can expand and take care of their employees. And I know that I've spoken to many employees that have left. I mean, they're working now in Liberty Lake or in Coeur d'Alene because they feel safer, and they're essentially doing the same job they could have been doing in downtown Spokane. And so for us to restore the heart of our city, is our city council needs to carry some of that burden that we've put on our business owners and our employees that live and work downtown.
Okay. All right, let's move on to question number 4. Given the importance to our region, what do you think can be done to bring people back downtown? As you mentioned, a lot of people are hesitant to come downtown. So what are some things you think we could do long-term and even short-term to reverse our current trend?
Definitely a great question. I think it's a self-fulfilling prophecy, because I think that once we start taking care and giving the people that what we call the chronic homelessness, the help that they need, that are most vulnerable people in our city, if we get them off the street, give them a path forward, whether it's mental health, drug addiction, or housing, which from my perspective, housing with wraparound services is the need that they it's the way to give them a path forward. Then we can start attracting people downtown, developers. I think maybe I don't know how long ago it's been, maybe 7 to 10 years ago, I saw that downtown was booming. I mean, a lot of developers, businesses were moving to downtown. They're remodeling old buildings, putting a lot of money and attention to downtown. And that's essentially stopped. And I know COVID had something to do with it, but since we're out of COVID, a lot of people that I talk to knocking on doors, they just don't have a necessity to go downtown. They don't have a need. They don't feel safe. Personally, myself, I'm very involved downtown. I feel safe downtown. But when I do have my kids downtown, I'm a little bit more cognizant of my environment. I'm looking around. I'm making sure that nothing's happening. But we need to bring that sense of community and safety downtown to be able to bring visitors and the people that live here in Spokane. I hate that we only enjoy downtown when it's Balloons Day, Hoop Fest, Tacos and Tequila, or Pig Out in the Park that's happening this weekend. I think I want people and families to enjoy Spokane year-round because it's the heart of our region. It is extremely beautiful, and we have so much to offer. So I guess to answer your question, because I've been diverting quite a bit, is at a short term, we need to find ways to restore our community, get people off the street into a path forward for them to get better. And then at a long-term level, we need to continue to incentivize businesses to come to Spokane, to develop in Spokane, and attract visitors and our community. That way we can do more events and wonderful things downtown.
Okay. Moving on to question 5. What's your view of the current city budget, and what would you do to try to make sure we stabilize the city budget? Because the city and the state right now are both facing budget challenges. So what are some suggestions you have?
Yeah, unfortunately, I haven't had the opportunity to really dig into the Spokane budget. I know I've heard that we are on a deficit, and there's a lot of things that affect our city budget and our state budget. So I think when it comes to budget, what I do in my professional career is I'm always balancing the budget for our company. I'm looking at forecasts. I'm looking at prioritizing things. I think if I were to look at the budget, I think the most important thing is the return on investment, right? We need to look at prioritizing the money and the limited resources that we have on things that are going to bring a return on investment and make sure that our taxpayer dollars are used and stretched as much as possible. So some of the challenges that we're facing, if we prioritize money to solve these issues, then I think it's what we said before, it's going to incentivize either more business, the community, the economy, and right now downtown Spokane has a 30% vacancy, but also I believe the property value downtown Spokane went down 30%. So we're losing property tax revenue for the city. We're losing certain things because we're not tackling the issues head on. And so from my perspective on a budget, we need to be clear and prioritize and be open with the public on how we're handling the limited resources that we have. But then for things that we might not be able to tackle this year or next year, we need to find creative ways to partner with the public and private sector to fund some of these programs that we don't want to see falling behind. So prioritizing is important. Prioritizing has always been important in budgets, but it's also on the return on investment. And I think that tackling some of these issues can solve our budget issues because we're going to create more tax revenue, property revenue, or property tax revenue and things like that that can help our budget be a healthy budget for the coming years.
Okay. And the sixth question, a little more general, but what do you think are the top concerns from business owners and their employees, and how would you address those? I know you've kind of addressed some of the issues already.
Yeah. No, I've had the pleasure and opportunity to meet with some of the local businesses in my district, but also in downtown. And it's very similar to what I said earlier. I mean, as a business owner, the business owners have quite a bit of burden, but also the employees that live and work downtown. Safety is priority, but it's also opening up the door to our business owners and our employees, because right now they feel like they're not being listened to. We need to bring those people to the table because they're the ones dealing with the issues firsthand. They know what's going to work, what's not going to work. Some of them have great ideas, and they need to be heard. They need to be brought to the table, and they're going to help us create good policy. I think one of the things that I've learned throughout business is I don't need to be the expert in all matters when it comes to my business. I just need to know the key people that know those issues and work with them and bring different perspectives and bring different approaches to solving some of these issues. And that's when I say I want to be the voice to bring people together, is because I have the leadership experience and operational experience to really connect with people, see different perspectives, and find real solutions for Spokane. And that's my hope, and I think when I talk to business owners and employees, they want to see that as well.
Okay. Well, that wraps up our 6 questions. Before we finish today, I'd like to go ahead and give you 4 minutes to kind of recap anything that we haven't touched on, stuff you're passionate about.
Yeah, I mean, my closing statement is very simple. I don't necessarily need 4 minutes, but I can say this is I really encourage people to go out and vote. And I think you mentioned this at the beginning. It is very important that we make our voices heard. Whether it's for me or my opponent, I definitely encourage you to come vote November 4th. It is a powerful tool that expresses our view and supports the people that we align with. I do want to say I'm not running to get the job. I'm running to do the job. And there's a big difference. And I now understand that I have, it's taken me some courage, but I know I'm ready, and I'm ready to give back to a community that's given me so much. And I'm here to do this job. I don't have higher aspirations for politics. I'm just here to do this job well, make my family and families proud here in Spokane, and really make a difference. And I want to be the person and the people that represents people, not a party or not politics. And thank you. I'm ready to continue this campaign, and I'm ready to earn your trust. And I also do welcome and encourage people to reach out directly to my campaign if they want to know more about me, my campaign, what I stand for. I always welcome people to engage with me directly, because I love talking about the issues and talking about what I can bring to the table. So thank you for your time.
All right, thank you so much, Alejandro, for being here. And we've said it several times, and the key is SBA is encouraging everyone to do research, make sure you're engaged, make sure you're registered to vote, and then get out and vote in November. And if you're a business owner or a business manager, make sure that you're talking to your employees to engage them. This is, again, our chance to really make a difference. And it's easy to get people to vote in a presidential election, but your city council has more impact over your day-to-day life and your local business than somebody that lives in Washington, D.C. So really encourage you to get involved, get engaged, and let your voice be heard.